So everybody, here are basically going to be two examples from the matrix homework that I'm going to be going over for you guys today. I'm currently recording this on Tuesday night, and I will have the answer key probably done by Thursday. I'll probably do the answer key on Thursday, okay? So let's just go over kind of a couple matrix multiplication problems, all right? I'm going to work over number 3, which is F times D. So matrix F times matrix D. So this is F right up here, and this is D right here, okay? So again, first thing we need to do, determine the dimensions to see if we can even multiply these. Look at F, I got 1, 2 numbers going from left to right, and then I got 1, 2, 3 numbers going up and down. So this is a 2 by 3 matrix, okay? Then looking at D, this is 1, 2, 3 sets of numbers going from left to right, and then I got 1, 2, 3 numbers going up and down, which gives me a 3 by 2 matrix. I know, 3 by 3, excuse me. Now we notice here that the number of columns, again, my second number, my first matrix, and then my second matrix, the number of rows match. So that means that, yes, I can multiply these out. And that what that means also is I do my kind of imaginary cancel here. I'm going to have a 2 by 3 matrix for my final, okay? So I know that I'm going to have final matrix. Actually, I'm going to kind of take it down here. Get my eraser here, and then get the pen. I'm going to kind of set up the final matrix down here, okay? So you're going to have 2 rows and then 3 columns, all right? 2, 3. All right, now let's go ahead and figure it out here, okay? So we start with, I'm going to kind of go with the green today. We're going to start with the top row. I'm going to start with this one here, and then we're going to multiply it by this row right here, okay? And again, as we move from left to right in my first matrix with my row, I'm going to go down my column in D. So we multiply the 3 and the 4. And then we're going to we go left we go right to the 4, we go down to the -2, multiply the 4 and the -2. And again, remember, we're also going to be adding these numbers as well. Move right to the -2, we're going to go down to the -3. We're going to add -2 times the -3, okay? Add all these up, you got 12 plus -8 plus 6. Let's see, you got basically 18. Basically 12 minus 8 is 4 plus 6. You're going to get yourself 10 for this first one right here. Because again, we are multiplying, again, the top row to the first column there, all right? Now, we have another column that we're going to move over. So we're going to stay in this first row and move on to this column right here. And again, same thing, as we're going to just worry about this singular column right here. As we go from left to right in my row right here, we're going to go down. So I'm going to go down here real quick. We're going to do 3 times 1 plus go right, I'm 4, go down, I'm -5, so it's going to be -4 times a -5, plus we go right, -2, go right to -2, we go down to 4, it's going to be -2 times 4. We simplify this out, we have 3 plus a -20 minus 8, all right. Simplify that out, you get yourself -17 minus 8, which is essentially a -55, no, -25, excuse me. And it's going to go to the right of the first 10 there, because again, we're dealing with the top row, but the second column. So it's going to go down here. It's going to go in our top 1 row into our second column here, okay? Now, we're done with this row right here. We're going to move on to the next one, okay? We still stay in this first row. We stay in this first row until we run out of columns to multiply. And as it just so happens, this is our last column that we're going to multiply. So if we multiply these out, let's see, this is FD, no, this is, so it's going to be 3. So it's going to be 3 times 1 plus, we move right, again, I kind of move up, we go right to the 4, we go right to the 4, down to the 3, so it's going to be 4 times 3 on the bottom, plus we move right over to the 2 again here, and then we go down to the 6. It's going to be negative 2 times 6. Simplify these. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 12. 4 times 3 plus a negative 12. Well, look at that. Basically, these 12s cancel out here. We're left with 3 because we're still in the first, 3 right there, still in the first row in the third column. All right. I'm going to pause the video and set up for the next set here. All right, so I have run out of columns to multiply in the second matrix to multiply by my first row in the first matrix. So now I'm going to move down, there we go, move down to the second column and start from the first column again and basically do the same process, working our way over. And again, same process as we did as we move from left to right over here, we're going to move from up to down over here. So we start with a negative 6, multiply by the 4 there. We're still adding, move right to the 4 in the first matrix, move down to the negative 2. It's going to be negative 2. Move right to the negative 5, move down to the negative 3, okay? Negative 24 plus a negative 8, there's going to be a big negative number, plus a negative 15. Let's see, negative 22 plus negative 24. I'm going to check that on my calculator here real quick. That gets us a negative 47. So I'm going to bring this down here as I go down there. Remember, I'm dealing with the second row in my first column, so it's going to be negative 47 below the 10 there. I'm done with this column here. I move on to the next one, all right? We go negative 6 times the 1, still adding. We move right to the 4, down to the negative 5, 4 times the negative 5. We move right to the negative 5, down to the 4. This is an addition sign here. Apologize for my sloppy handwriting here. Simplify out, you get yourself a negative 6. 4 times a negative 5 is a negative 20. And then negative 5 times 4 is also a negative 20 as well. So it's going to be basically a negative 46, all right? And that goes to the right of the negative 47, because we were dealing with the second row of our first matrix in the second column of our third matrix, or of our second matrix, excuse me, okay? So now it's time to do the last one, all right? Oh, excuse me. We move over to the next matrix, over to the next column, to the last column there, and then we do the same process. We start with the 6, move our way right. Start with the 6 on the left, start with the 1 on top, move our way left, right, move our way down. Negative 6 times 1, plus, move right to the 4, down to the 3, that's going to be 4 times 3. Still adding, move right to the negative 5, move down to the 6, that's going to be negative 5 times 6. Get ourselves negative 6 plus 12 minus, this is basically plus a negative 30, so I'm just going to write minus 30. You got a minus 36 plus 12, you're going to get yourself a negative 24 for that, all right? Negative 24. And that right there is the answer to number 3, okay? Okay, so We got another problem here, all right? I'm going to try and speed round this one. I only got about 5 minutes left on the recording, all right? This is number 9 we are doing. I'm going to move this over here. Label these again. This is a 1 by 4 matrix, and this is a 4 by 2 matrix. We check these inside numbers over here real quick, and we see that they are the same. Do our kind of imaginary cancel, we see that we're going to be left with a 1 by 2 matrix. All right, we're going to be left with a 1 by 2 matrix. All right. So again, the same thing that we did before. Label your rows in the first one, and then label your columns in the second one. Okay. And then I'm going to set up my 1 by 2 matrix, so it's going to be a 1 row, 2 column matrix, so it's going to actually be kind of a shorter matrix this time. And then we just got a lot to add up here. So we're going to go in the same process. We're going to start from the right. Excuse me on that. So we're going to start from the right, and I'm going to go red this time. Start from the right over here. Work our way to, start from the left, excuse me, work our way right, and then go down. Starting with this first column, and then go into the second column, all right? So, we start with the -3, multiply by the -2. Move right to the 0, down to the 4. We're still adding. 0 times 4. Move right to the 5, down to the -8. 5 times -8. Still adding. Move right to the 1, down to the 1 here, okay? Just going to be 1 times 1. We simplify all this together, you get -6 plus 0. I'm not going to write the 0, plus a -40 plus 1. That just basically gets us a -45, which I'm going to put right here, okay? And again, you know it's a 2 by 1. We're going to have a 1 by 2 matrix here, so I'm going to have one thing here, one row, with 2 items in that single row right there. So I know I'm going to have something here, which is the -45. And I'm going to have something here, which is what we're going to find next, okay? So we start with the -3, 0, 5, and 1. We're going to move on to the next column there, okay? And again, starting from the right here, the left, excuse me, and moving our way this way. Start with the -3. We're going to go in this column now. -3 times 2. We move right to the 0. Down to the 1. So 0 times 1. So plus, move right to the 5, and then down to the 0. Yep. 5 times 0. Plus that, move right to the 1 right here, move down to the 0. We're going to multiply 1 times 0. And hey, if you look at that, all these here cancel out because they're just number times 0, and we're basically left with -3 times 2, which is a -6, okay? And y'all, that right there is example 9 right there, okay? And again, the answer key will more than likely be posted on Thursday, maybe even Friday. So just make sure you guys are still preparing, actually probably going to be Thursday, excuse me. Just make sure you guys are getting through with the homework and asking questions when you need, okay? Thank you.